Hey folks, Keric here and welcome back to part 14 of this Primal walkthrough on PS2.
No.
Yes, 14 parts already. No? What do you mean no? Get your bloody bikini on and get in the water. I'm not having this. Not this early in the episode. Okay, so once you're done up in the little spit of land there, we're going to go ahead with the objectives and try and get some of the water purified if possible. So head through the gate that we opened in the last episode and make your way up through the tunnel. You can get turned around quite a bit in the underwater kind of sections. As you see, I managed to keep the camera straight and we're still like 90 degrees off, which is very disconcerting. Oh hello. First battle by the looks of it, folks. Pretty much the same as a Ferrari battle, only it sounds like some kind of weird nerd porn as she grunts and groans her way through. Bit like Monica Seles, only there's no tennis going on. I'm going to point out now that the combat underwater is absolutely atrocious. I absolutely hate it. The ferry one was passable, the rest of them are all perfectly passable, but the underwater fights are absolutely terrible. So I will be moving through this section as fast as I possibly can. I've also got a little bit of a dislike for underwater sections. It gives me a really serious case of the heebie-jeebies. I always get the feeling that there's something behind me.
Whoa! I can't swim against this current.
So yeah, just to the right there's a section we can't enter. We'll come back to that later, but we do need scree for that. So for now, if we head up in this direction, you'll see the green swirly circly lights. And of course this guy, which we'll try and get rid of as quickly as possible. I should point out that as far as the combat goes in this, I'm going to be rubbish, which means I'm going to fail quite a lot. Please ignore it. I will get better as soon as we're back on some kind of reasonable level. Anyway, this is where we want to go. A little piece of the game I affectionately think of as the devil's arsehole. You can tell why. And since it's tightly closed right now, we need to make our way off towards the right. No, not the left. The right. That's it. As you can see, there's a circle off towards the right, this mushroomy thing. Basically, we have to go in there. The entrance just ahead of us, but do watch out for these weird anemone things. They curve round on themselves so they can reach you if you swim too close. The best idea is basically to aim for the bottom left and work your way directly underneath them all. They do show up a couple of times in this level, so do watch out for them. They can be quite easily missed. And since the most obvious thing in this area is the gate, I thought I'd give it a go.
Damn door.
But it's not to be.
Active. Probably need some juice.
So just behind us, you'll see this circle with glowy lights underneath that weird mushroomy thing. That's basically where we're heading. No, not high enough. And once inside, basically you're looking for that weird board thing off to the left.
A map of the purifying system. The markings must be the substations.
Indeed. So flick the switch on top. Come on, click it. There we go. Which relaxes the devil's sphincter. And like an idiot, I press the button again, which of course closes off the section that we're wanting to go through. I'll sort it out in a minute. As you swim out, this guy appears, so just take care of him in the normal way. It is worth pointing out at this point that she does seem to use some kind of a weird electric lash claw type thing, which is really good idea apart from the fact that you're underwater. I would have thought using any kind of electricity underwater would probably have been quite hazardous to yourself, never mind anyone else. Just checking it hasn't actually turned the power on here, which of course it hasn't.
Down door doesn't seem to be active. Probably need some juice.
So you want to make your way underneath the barnacles. And back up to the door. Like I said, I did manage to press the button twice which closed it, so I'm just going to do a quick wipe. Save you having to watch me go back. There we go, and now it's open again. So it allows us to enter into the first of these areas, which is the Primal station. At the bottom there is a switch. But of course things are never that easy.
The switch is sealed.
And there's very little else. You'll see there's some cogs around the centre which need to be aligned with that central flywheel. But there's very little else underwater here, so we'll need to head towards the surface. And as you do, you see there's a platform off to the right, and also off in the distance there's one off to the left. Nothing behind the cogs. So just climb out of the water. This is one of the most annoying things about this level. Every time you go out of the water you have to switch because you'll suffocate. Every time you want to go into the water you have to switch. And they've kind of built it around sections like this where you climb out onto dry land for literally seconds and then go straight back in again. So it's, to be honest, very annoying. Anyway, change back into undown form. And once you're done, just jump back into the water. It's also worth noting that while you're in polluted water, your energy won't regenerate. But while you're here anyway, just grab the switch, flick it a few times.
Okay, that's one of the cogs
And
aligned.
that sorts out the first of the two cogs. No, let go! Okay, triangle it is, fair enough. And once you're done, basically you just need to go back up the way you came. So yeah, more form switching. Woohoo! Come on. If I can see where the hell the platform is. Camera angles in the underwater sections are kind of annoying. Not a big fan of it at all. So once again, change form, climb up the ladders, and pretty much make your way back into the other body of water, only to swim across to the other side and do the whole damn thing again. Yeah, I think whoever came up with this part of the level really needs some kind of damage doing to them, if it hasn't already been done. This constant switching is really annoying. So anyway, just swim your way over to the other side. And there's another out of the water bit. So climb out, switch form, and continue. Yeah, other side of the ladder. Fine, be like that. And again, there's another water section over here. Kind of wonder how in the name of God the Undines actually managed to do this in the first place. Surely if they can't exist out of the water, why wouldn't you just have a tunnel between the two sections that's underwater? Are they reliant on some kind of mutant-y, air-breathing fish wandering past every so often? I don't know. Kind of weird. Anyway, I actually turned the switch in the wrong direction. You have to bear in mind that one of the cogs is above and one of them is below. So you need to turn this one to the left instead of the right. And since we already put it up one, I'll need to do that twice to get the damn thing aligned properly.
Right. I just need to activate the master switch.
So there we go, both cogs now aligned. And the locks in the master switch are now released, so we can use that. So just make your way back into the central chamber. You know the drill. Come on, we've done it about 4 times already now. Just make our way up the ladders. And once we're through on the other side, just make our way down to the switch and activate it. So yeah, not a big fan of underwater sections. I don't know what it is. I've not really talked to many other people that have it. I've noticed a couple on YouTube seem to have it, but just some kind of a weird, uncomfortable feeling about swimming sections in games. I always get the feeling there's some great big monstrous fish just underneath you that you can't fight. Kind of waiting for it to come and get you. Constantly fearing it.
Now to get those substations.
Like the worst thing is it usually never happens in games. I've only ever seen one game really where there was some kind of a if you go too deep this thing will come and get you mechanic. But it still creeps me out. Anyway, as you leave, exiting through the Devil's Arsehole once again, there's this guy to take care of, which we will do post-haste. Well, as soon as we can, really. I really hate these weapons. They do have some range on them, but one of the combos seems to have like a basic stun attached to it. Which means they just kind of move out of your range, and it's very annoying. Very annoying indeed. So once you're done with him, again, it's a case of making your way over towards the right, and this time the gate will actually open. So just avoid the barnacles again. Swim over to the gate and press the button. Now it's worth pointing out that there will be a lot of items that I don't pick up in this game. There are an awful lot of scree type items laying around, lodestones, those stones, the energy stones you can crush, things like that. I'm not really going to bother with them purely on the basis that I want to get this sodden water section out of the way as soon as possible. So if you feel the need to explore and pick a lot of those up, absolutely feel free, but you don't need to. I think there's only one more statue we need to possess and we have enough lodestones. There will be enough in each area of the game to allow you to proceed, so it's not really something you should worry about. On the map, it does show you to go over to the beach area where we were at the start of the video, but there's also a station earlier on. So if you follow the pathways through, you'll come out quite near the section where we saved Ano. So just swim back through to the cave, which takes us back to the Temple Lagoon. We will do that part after the beach, directly after, but the first pumping station is actually through here, so it's worth getting it out of the way considering how far back it is. Oh, nearly got lost. Hate this cave. And as you come back out, you'll see a lot of stuff along the bottom of the sea floor here. Like I said before, really, you can have a wander around if you want and pick some stuff up with scree. But for now, we're going to head off to the right. This huge big iris type affair. And open that up. And make your way down the Devil's Windpipe. I'm gonna run out of metaphors, aren't I, really? I'm not sure the Devil has enough tubes to cover the whole section. And this is the first of the pumping stations. With the switch handle on the front. So just activate it. If you go around the back of the structure, you will see there is like a little hatch off in the distance. It's worth trying to open all of these. Sometimes there are items inside, and I know later on in the game there is a card inside one, so try and bear in mind. It may even be part of the story, to be honest. I've got so used to opening them that I don't think about it too much anymore. Anyway, with the station now online, we can make our way back out. and work our way through to the Dam Lagoon area again. Now once we're through here, we want to make our way up to the beach area where we got the card in the last episode, and indeed where we started this episode. So if you just swim across to kind of the top right hand corner of the map and surface somewhere around here. There we go. Just climb out of the water. Change back to human.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
You can't breathe, you fool. There we go. Jen doesn't like you trying to save her life. She's a very strong-willed individual, which is good in a hero. Or heroine. Sorry, went to the masculine there. So anyway, once you've waded through and changed into Undown form, make your way down through the tunnel. The Devil's Gullet, we'll call it. I'm really gonna run out of tubes. And once you're done, open up the iris. Ugh. Camera work. This being a new area, I'm expecting enemies, so I'm a little bit cautious to start with. But obviously there's nothing really there, so just swim across. Grab hold of your controller and give it a turn. No idea why I pressed triangle there. So that's the second pumping station now online. And again, in this area there will be another one of those hatches, so it's worth having a little bit of a swim around, finding that and opening it. And in this case we don't have to go too far at all. So we now have 2 pumping stations in operation, and the priming station. So that's quite a bit of progress this episode. All we need now is to make our way back to the main section. But this is a pretty good point to cut off the video, so that's what I'm going to do. I've been Keric the Pally, this has been Primal. You have a good evening now.
No.